Have you been looking for a soap saver pouch pattern for your handmade soaps? Well, I've got you covered. Stick around and I'll show you how to make it. Welcome, Kristen here with Enchanted Yarn Works. I'm so glad you made it to the channel, and I'm absolutely thrilled to show you the pattern I just created. I was inspired from a trip to Central Texas a week or so ago with my daughter, where we used to live, Lampasas, Copperas Cove area, just a little bit west of Waco. And she talked me into, not a big deal, purchasing a couple handmade soap bars from the Kylie farm. They are in that area, based in that area, but they do ship nationwide. So I just could go to the website, which I have linked in the description. I get no kickbacks from this, just so you know. I'm just happy to share the love. So I was inspired to create this cute little soap saver pouch so that my daughter could hold on to the soap in the shower. And this is more of a intermediate advanced beginner, because we're going to be using not just single crochets, but also half double crochets in the third loop. So stick around, click that like and subscribe button, and I will show you how it's done. Okay, so let's get started. Here is our finished product that I did to begin with. Front and back there, you can see you've got the back loop, the third loop stitches in there, and the nice little shell stitch at the edge. And then you'll just, pull it tight like so. And you can do that. So what we're going to be using for this is 24/7 Cotton by Lion Brand. This is a DK weight, so it's a little finer weight and gives it a finer texture and a looser texture. So, and I have a 3.5 millimeter hook. This is just a generic one that I got off of Amazon. And it came with like a set of 3, so like a 3, 3.5, 4 grouping, so that you have a selection, which I like that. I think they're probably like $7 or $8. I also have in my little pouch here, I have my pair of scissors that came in a kit some time ago, and I have my set of my tin with my needles in here. I have a few different sizes, so that helps to be able to weave in my ends. Okay, actually, let me put that back in here. So let's go ahead and get started with this. With this finer weight, I tend to like wrap my finger more for better tension. All right, so we'll make our slip knot. I hope this can be seen better with the black background. I know white is not the best color when doing this, but this is what I have, and then I don't have to worry about any fading or any weirdness when it comes to with the soap and what have you. So okay, so first off, we have chain 13. Okay, and then usually I like to work in these back loops here. You can see that in the back loops, but in this case, we're going to be going around the chain. So I'm going to work here on this top loop, and then when we get to the other side, it's going to be flipped like this, and then it'll be the top loop again on the other side. Hope that makes sense. If it's confusing, please comment below, and I will gladly help clarify for you. Okay, so second chain. Single crochet. And then we're going to do 10 more. 1, 2, sorry guys, okay, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so that leaves one loop here. Okay, so I'm not sure if you guys are curious, but for this pattern, I'm not too concerned about this being loose because I want the, because it's for a soap saver to hold your soap, your bar soaps. I don't want it to hold all the soap inside the pouch. I want the soap to be able to come out. So if these are a little bit loose in this foundation, it doesn't bother me one bit. Okay, so next we do two single crochets in this last loop here on this side. And I'm going to fold that end back over there and put this guy here. Two. Okay, so now we're working back around the other side. And yes, it's the same end loop, but we still have these loops here, guys. So can you see that? Okay. So we're going to work here with, remember I said now it's going to be on the top. So now we need to do 2 here on this side. So we're going to end up with 4 total on this end, 4 single crochets. So 1 and 2. Now we're going back 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. See, that's opening on the bottom, and I'm okay with that, like I said, because it's for soap. It's not a big deal to me. So that's 10. So now we need to do 3 in this last loop, which with our starting will give us the 4 to mirror this end over here. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and now we are slip stitching into our first stitch to end this row. And there it is. So there's our beginning, our first row, all the way around. You know what? This bugs me. Let me see what I can do about that. Actually, I think I'm going to do this into both of these loops right here. Okay, that's better. I picked the wrong loop. 1, 2, I think. Nope, we need to do both loops. I'm sorry. I know I said I'm not worried about the holes, but this always end one is just a huge hole and it just seems funky to me. So here on the last one, we're going to go through both loops. And that'll give it more stability so it doesn't make a monster hole at the end. And then the slip stitch. And there we go. Okay, see, I like that a little bit better. Kind of matches all the way across. All right, so row 2, we chain 1. And we're going to single crochet around. And so we do 2 in the same. So in the same stitch means here where we slip stitched into. So 1, and this is going to create our corners. And now we're single crocheting across 11. If you guys are liking my videos so far, please like and subscribe so that you don't miss out on any of my content that comes up. I do a variety of different things. So here I'm doing some practical stuff that I was inspired by for when I went to Texas with my daughter a few weeks ago. We just got back for a couple weeks, and so I wanted to make. We were in Central Texas, and we were in Lampasas for Spring Hoe, which is a festival that they do every end of July, mid-July, excuse me. And so my daughter went with her friend and called me, Mom, you got to come with me to see this because this lady has these amazing soaps. They're handmade and they're made with essential oils, organic essential oils. They're really good. It'll be great for my skin. It'll be great for my hair. Come check it out. So we went down there and checked it out, and I picked up 3 bars of soap, and then my daughter used one of them for the first time in the shower after we got home and said, Mom, I need something to hold this because it's just slipping out of my hands everywhere. So I said, okay, let me create a pouch for you. And so here we are. This is what we're doing. Okay, I need to count because I stopped counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I said 11, right? Yes, 11. There we go. So I'm super happy to share this with you guys. I know that the handmade soaps are a new thing. I don't want to say they're trendy because, I mean, healthy should not be trendy. Healthy should be our status quo, right? So, but sometimes we need something to kind of help facilitate the healthfulness. So this is where I'm happy to do this. So we have the little soap pouch here. Other things that I've done, I get little random inspirations. And so for 4th of July, if you guys haven't seen those videos, I made a patriotic bandana pattern. And then I also made some cute earrings, which everyone loves. So I have a few different patterns like that. But then we have a chain 2 here. Sorry, I'm so chatty right now. But then I also do these fun AI patterns that I have my viewers and friends send in to me. I have no idea what they're supposed to be, but they ask AI to create patterns. And then I make them here in the videos. If you guys haven't seen any, I have about 3 different episodes broken up into 2 parts that are already listed, and you guys could watch those. And so definitely like and subscribe so you don't miss any of my content. It's super fun. Okay, so we did those two. And then we just, so here in the corner we have that, and then we have a single here. So we're just going to do a regular single crochet. And then the next one is the other side of the corner. So we have 2 single crochets in there. And then back down the other side, we have to match. So it'll be 11 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. Okay. After the 11, we have their next corner. So we need to do 2 in here. In our next stitch. 1 and 2. And then we have our middle, which is our single crochet. This here is our chain, is our slip stitch, and it's our chain. So this is our side single crochet. And then that's the end. Now we're going to slip stitch it over here to the top of our single crochet. And there we go. Round 2 complete. I'm going to, all right, so round 3, we have a chain 1. This is where we're going to start building this a little bit bigger. I did the single crochets to get started, but then I want to grow it a little bit more. So as you can see here, I'm starting with half doubles. So the rest of this pattern is going to be half doubles all the way up in, varying degrees. And then up here at the top is going to be double crochets to make the area to put the tie. All right. So chain 1, and then we're doing 2 half doubles in the same here. Half doubles, not singles. So your half double, if you're not sure, you just loop around. Pull through, you'll have 3 loops on the hook, and then you'll pull through all 3 of them, like that. So we need to do 2 in the same. So there's our half double corner, and then now we have 13 across. So the soaps are made by the Kylie Farm in Central Texas, and I'm going to post a link for their website and their socials down below for you guys to check them out if you're interested. They have soaps, they have lotions, they have laundry detergent, they have moisturizers, lip balms, quite a few different things. So I will link that for you guys down below, and you can check them out. All right, I need to count. 1, 2, 10, 11, 2 more. 12 and 13. Okay, so now we have these 2 for our end. So we just half double in each of them, just 1 half double. Oh, wait, no. I skipped. I'm sorry. 13. We have to do our 2 for a corner. Okay. Now a half double. It's getting ahead of myself. My apologies. And now the other corner, 2 half doubles. And now 13 back. And 13. Okay. So 2 for our corner in the same stitch. And then 1 on the edge, on the end. And then now we slip stitch to the top of our first half double, which is going to be right here. And that should be a total of 36 half double crochets. So now we are going to start our skips, our open spaces. Okay, so here instead of chaining 1, we're going to chain 2, and I'll explain to that the reason for that in a little bit, because most of this pattern says that the chain 1 or chain 2 at the beginning does not count as a stitch, but for round 4, which is the one we're about to do, it is going to, and it'll make sense later, I promise. Okay, so chaining 2 and 2 in the same stitch, half double crochet. So now we are going to chain 1, and we're going to skip a space. This gives us our open pattern. Okay, and we do this 7 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So now we are skipping this one, and then here we are going to do our 2 half doubles in the same stitch. And now we chain 1, but we're not going to skip spaces for the ends. So we're going to do another here, just a single half double, and then a chain. Okay. And then another, and a chain. And then now we're at our corner. So we're doing 2 in this space. And then our chain. And then we're going back the other way. So we need 7 again, spacing and skipping again. 1, and 7. Doesn't seem right. Did I miss a step? Skip a stitch somewhere. Nope. Okay. Okay, this is going to be weird looking, but trust me, it's going to work out. Okay. Chain 1, and then in the next, we do our 2. Trust me, it's going to work out. Okay. Chain 1, and then in this slip stitch space, we're doing another half double after we chain 1, and now we chain 1. So here is where we're going to match the other side with the 2 single half doubles on this side. This is one, and the chain 2 is going to count as the other. So we have our our chain 1. So now we need to put this in the top of our chain 2. As our slip stitch. Okay. I know it seems really strange, but it's going to work out, I promise. Okay, so now what we're going to do is start the entire, so now we're going back to our solid, but we're going to start working in the 3rd loop to give it that knit look texture. Okay, so what we need to do is chain 1, and we have to half double in this chain space. Okay, so if you can see, there's a loop right there. That is our 3rd loop. Okay, so this is awkward to show you. I'm so sorry. So I'm coming in from the back in this case to make it easier because it's the chain. So now we have 3 on our loop, our hook, and then we go through all 3, just like a regular half double. Okay, there it is. So that's 1. We're gonna end up with 42 total. Okay. So I kind of like to fold it forward a little bit to make it easier to find. That one was there. Oh, I'm so sorry. That one was there. So our next one is right here, you can see. And then the next one will be here. And it just goes around. And then here. Okay. All right. So let's do it. Okay. Yarn over in the 3rd loop. Okay. So that's 2. Three, 4, 5, 'So as you do, some of your stitches will get tighter like this is. You just have to kind of look for this little loop on the back. Kind of looks like the back loop when you're chaining, when you're doing your chaining. And that is going to be where you want to go. So what it gives you is this knit look here, which it will look better once we start building on it. And this is going to curve up. It looks very flat right now because it's the foundation, but it's going to start curving up. Okay. Don't worry. If it looks like this, you're doing it right. All right. So continuing on, can you see where I'm putting the, and I know it can be a little bit tricky, especially when you're working in the chain stitches because we have, the chain spaces. But I'm here for you. Just ask me questions in the comments and I will definitely get back to you. And if you haven't yet, please definitely make sure you like and subscribe. Don't want you guys to miss out on all the fun. All right, let me count, see where I'm at right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's 13. Okay. 14, 15, 16, Okay, so that's 42. And now we are going to slip stitch to the first half double up here, like that. See, it's starting to take shape. All right, so we're going to be doing from now on in the back, in the third loop like that, okay? Next row we have another row of the skipping. So this is what we're doing from here on out. We're going to do a row of spaces, and then we're going to do a row of filling in the gaps, is what I'm going to call it, okay? So chain 1, and then we get to sorry guys, I'm trying to see where this is at. Oh, so what I'm doing here, so this one doesn't have the same kind of third loop like this right here. So what I'm doing for this first one is this spot right here, okay? So here we go. I did my chain 1, and then into that, and then half double, and then chain 1. Now we're skipping. We're going to skip this one and go into this one. See, now that it's kind of created there, it makes it easier to see it because we have a full, every stitch is done with the half double instead of the skipping. So we're going to have an easier row and a not so easier row. But okay, so skipping that one and then going into this one and then chain all the way around. I'll do a couple so you guys can see. So you see here's our first one, but we're skipping it and we're going into the next one. Chain 1, skip, next. Chain 1, skip, next. All right, all the way around, guys. See you at the end. Okay, so I am actually at the last one. So here is our skip loop right here. So we have our chain, and then we're going to slip stitch over to the top of our first half double. And there we go. There's that. You see the nice little texture it gives? I think it's fun. Okay. So something you can do before you get too in depth into the height of this pouch is, because sometimes I forget, is pause here and then go ahead and weave in your base, your starting chain, your starting tail. That way you don't forget later, and then you finish and you have this long tail in there and you're like, I gotta switch it inside out. Yeah, I guess it doesn't really matter, but I don't know. Sometimes those little reminders help. If you're that kind of person, comment below. Say thank you for the reminder, because I would have forgot that, girl. Yeah, I would have too. Okay. Here we go. We're repeating these all again. So this should have actually given you 21 half doubles. Now I know it's crazy weird because two rows ago we had 26 half doubles. It's because we were making the corners. I know the math doesn't seem to be mathing, but it works out. Okay, we're not counting this chain as a stitch. So now that we've done all and then our skippy doos, we are supposed to have 21 half doubles here. So let's double check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Yep. And 21 is this last one right here. So there it is. You know, and if you weave that in sooner rather than later, it's not going to get annoying like it's doing to me right now. So you do you, and however it works. All right, next up, we're going to repeat this row below. So that would be row 5. We're going to repeat row 5 for 42 total half double crochets. Okay. So we're chaining 1. Actually, it's going to be a little bit different because we had this double down here, but the way I have it written, we're still doing 42 around, but we don't have to go in between anything. Okay. So here we have, can you see? This here is going to be our third loop. Okay. And that's where we're starting. And we do need 42 around. So we chained 1 and then third looped it, and there's our half double. Okay. So 1, this is our next third loop. 2, forgive me, there it is. 3. I really like this yarn because it's so smooth and soft. And I like the finer weights. They just don't feel so heavy and dense and cumbersome to me. So yeah, and it's not splitting terribly, which is fantastic. Okay, 1, 2, 3. 4. Again, see that can get tight right there because we pulled up back here. Sorry. So we just have to make sure we can look for that little loopy loop. And there it is. And don't forget to yarn over. There we go. That should be 5, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes. Okay, so this is what you're doing all the way around. I'm going to do that, and I will see you at the end. Okay, so I have 39. And here is 40. 41. Okay, so then the way you know if you've got enough is that 42 is going to be in this chain space, okay? So it's going to be, oops, so sorry. It's going to be in this back loop, this third loop right here in the chain space. Can you see that okay? And that's 42. And so we are going to slip stitch that there, like so. See, it's coming along, looking pretty cute. So if this seems to be a little tedious and cumbersome for you, or a little difficult, you could modify this by either going up to a worsted weight yarn. Mind you, that's going to make it a larger pouch. It'll probably about double it, okay, which is fine. Like, it doesn't have to be a soap pouch in that sense, or you know, some soaps are larger, and I'm going to talk about how to size this bigger here towards the end, and then So you could do a worsted weight and it'll just make the whole thing a little bit larger and you'll use a bigger hook. Or you could change it up by not doing the third loop and just crochet into the both of the top loops like you normally would. It gives it a different look, a different design. I will publish I'll do another video with both of those options for you so that you can see how different they're going to look. Okay, so now what we're doing, we just finished what would be called, excuse me, row 7 with 42 total half double crochets. So what you're going to do now to get the size that we have here, pardon me, I needed to find my tape measure. So this one is measuring about 3¼ inches, aka 9½ centimeters, by the space before the tie, about 4 inches, and that's 10 centimeters. So if you're looking for that smaller size, you can stick to this. But to customize this to make it taller, say you want your pull cinching to be up here, you're just going to keep adding rows 6 and 7, which is like this section here. You're just going to keep adding that on as tall as you want it to go before you get to these up here, which are row 18. Okay, so next up we need to repeat rows 6 and 7 5 more times. So that's going to give us 10 more rows total. So I'm going to go ahead and skip through all of that for you and then meet you at the end of that to then start the next part, which is the spacing where our little cinch tie is going to go into. Okay. So I am in the last few stitches of row 17, but I want to show you a way to determine if you're in the right places for your stitches with this. There's kind of like a little sheet option. So if you look, you're pretty much going to be straddling the posts below. So you'll go one on this side and one on this side, one on this side, one on this side. Makes it easy there. So, okay. So that's on the right side, and then here we have the one on the left side. So this is 36. 37, 38, 39, 40, and then last one, we have one on the right and one on the left. 41, and 42. Okay, so now we're going to slip stitch. in that top stitch, the first one, and there we go. So that is row 17, excuse me, finished. So 18, what we're going to do is we're repeating row 6, which is the skip one, except instead of using half double crochets, we're going to use double crochets because this is the spot where our tie is going to go. But before we continue, I want to show you. So here is the soap, and I'm going to put it in here so you can see it. This is from the KylieFarm.com. They do raw milk soap. This one is a eucalyptus fragrance. My daughter got the lavender Castile soap. I also purchased a newer, it's probably the Castile one. I don't remember, I have to look. In eucalyptus as well. But I'm going to take this out of here and kind of put it in that little pouch so we can see how everything fits. All of their soaps are generally the same size, at least the 3 that we bought. Generally the same size. The Castile one that my daughter got is the square. It doesn't have the shape on the top. But here we go. Put this guy in here. Oh, it smells lovely. They also have a sweet orange fragrance, lavender, and eucalyptus. I'm trying to remember if they had another fragrance. They did have also a charcoal clarifying soap. I do remember that. I didn't buy that one though. Okay, so here you go. You see, this fits just perfectly in here before we have the block for the tie. So this next stitch is going to be up here about this gap, and then it'll be right on top. So if you needed to put a larger bar in here that's taller, you'll just continue, like I said earlier, with the sequence of the 2 rows to make it taller before you get to the double crochet skipping stitch section. So, okay, let's take this out and continue. Oh, my hands smell so good now. Okay, so it's the same thing. So for this time, we need to chain 2 because we're doing double crochet instead of the chain 1. Still 3rd loop. So back here in the back. Where are you? Okay, 1 second. See, I see it right there in the front. Oh, sorry. I see it right there, but I gotta, there it is. Ta-da. Okay, so double crochet is the same beginning parts as your half double, in case you weren't sure. So you go on, you yarn over, and you go through your loop, and then you yarn over and pull through, and you end up with 3 on your hook. Okay, you yarn over again and pull through 2 instead of the 3 like we did with the half double, and then yarn over again and pull through those 2. Gives you a taller stitch. Okay, so then we're going to chain 1 again, still working in the 3rd loop, and skip 1 over here. And the reason why I'm doing the double crochet is because it makes a taller stitch, and that'll give more of an open space for the cord, the cinch tie cord, whatever you want to call it, to fit into. In case you're wondering why I chose cotton yarn over an acrylic or wool, it's because for things like this, washcloths, yeah, all those kinds of things, you want something durable that's easily washable. It's not going to fall out apart or shrink or shed like crazy, and cotton is definitely your best bet with that. And this is such a nice, soft cotton. I absolutely love it. So again, Kylie Farm is located, I believe, in Central Texas. If you're unfamiliar with that location, it is in the Waco area, north of Austin, south of Dallas, of course. I met them in Lampasas, which is about, gosh, an hour drives west from Belton, and then, I don't know, hour 15, 20 from Waco. I used to live in that area, so we went back to visit my daughter's friends. She was missing them after we moved. Her best friend for life is there, so she had to go hang out for 2 weeks, and I went and stayed with family in San Antonio for a bit, and then drove up to pick her up and see a couple friends, and then head back home to where I am now. So, okay, we should have our last one here. There it is. All right, we are almost finished with the main part of this. Slip stitch here in the top. There we go. Okay. Now what's next? We have row 7 again, which is the 42 half double crochets all the way around. So the chain 1, and then where is my, it's down there in the bottom, look at that. I'm gonna find it this way. Okay. Half double. Remember, you're doing each side of the post. It's a little bit tight. Okay, there's that one. 2. Stitch is a little tricky. I'm sorry, 1 second. So when you come back from doing the double crochet, it can be a little bit tricky to find your third loop because it's not exactly in the same-ish area, or at least it'll feel different. Let me flip this guy. Come on, buddy. There we go. Yeah, that would be that one. It'll just look a little different because the way that the stitch is set up. And then here's the next one on the left side of the post. If you would like me to show you how to do this pattern in all single crochet or with the worsted weight yarn or not using the third loop, comment down below and let me know. And I can absolutely do a video with that for you guys. It does look a little tricky, doesn't it? It's just different because it is a double crochet and not a half double. So definitely keep that in mind as you're doing this, if this is your first time working in these third loops with double crochet. I can understand it can be tricky because it's not as obvious to find the right loop as it is with the half double. The one on the left of the post is a little easier to find than the one on the right of the post. And I think that's because the stitch is pulled, so it's hiding. All right, so let me finish this row and I will be right back to do the last row of this pouch. Okay, so I'm on the last two. So this is 41 and 42. Okay, last row, we are going to make this kind of wavy stitch with half double crochets. The last one we are going to chain 2, because we are going to count this chain as a stitch. Okay, we're not going to work in the third loop, we're going to just work normal. So 2 half double crochets in the same stitch, and now we're going to skip 1 and we're going to do 3 in the next stitch. 2, 3, skip stitch, 1, 2, 3, skip stitch, and go ahead and just continue that all the way around. If you're curious why I decided not to do the back loop here, it's because this is the top, and it doesn't really matter as far as the texture goes because it's going to be scrunched and you can't really see it anyway. So I want to give it more stability with working through both loops, both top loops. So that's 3 in that one, skip 1, do another 3 in the next. If you've liked this video so far and would like to see more videos of mine, of all of my different genres, please like and subscribe. Comment down below what you think is what you like best about this video, or comment what you would like to see in the future. I love to hear from you guys, and I will always answer your comments. Also, if you are liking my content and you would love to support me by buying me a skein of yarn, you can definitely send me a donation. I have the link in my description box below for this video, and I'd be absolutely grateful for that. So thank you in advance. Okay, we are getting to the end. So if you're curious how much yarn this is using, I am still on the same skein of this yarn, and this will be my second one that I'm making. I mean, I haven't weighed the yarn yet. I guess I could do that and put a comment down there with what's in there. what's left over, but you could probably make, gosh, at least 5 of these with this, with this one skein. All right, so there's those 3. And now we're going to come over and we're going to slip stitch into the top of the first chains. There it is, guys. All right, so now what you're going to do is just trim this off. And work in your ends. Let me show you the way I like to do this. I like to do an invisible kind of tie off and what have you. So you see there's a loop created here. Okay, so that loop will fall in line with this loop. So we're going to make a loop over this loop. So we need to insert into this loop. Sometimes I forget how to do this and I feel so silly, but I've been doing it quite a bit lately. See how that's lining up? And then we come under here and we're going to go into the top of this connection loop. I hope you guys can, see that okay. And then tighten that up a little. See how it kind of got invisible there? And then once I tighten this side, magic. All right, so then we just weave these guys in. And when you do that, you want to go back and forth probably about 3 times and make sure you're going into each little strand that comprises the bulk of the yarn, and that makes it less likely to come apart. I'm a little hypochondriacal about it, so I like to do it a million times, but I'm just going to keep it simple for this video today. And I'm going to go back one more time. Okay, so I'll cut this. Oh, look, I'm reminded of that strand in there because I didn't do it earlier. Here's your reminder. Don't forget. Do this one also. Because I won't lie, I will be that guy, that gal, excuse me, that will not do it. And then I'll forget and then it'll sit there undone till the end of its days. Okay, here we go. See, this is why it's a little bit more difficult to hold the space. Sorry about that. When it's all made up completely. So definitely nix this part of the effort struggle bus and work on it when it's fresh before you build up the sides, like I was saying. All right, one more pass and we should be good. Okay, I think it's I-cord time. I need my tape measure for this. So this is a simple way to make a fairly simple I-cord. This uses a long tail. So what I want to do is make this long tail end about 40 inches, which is about 101 centimeters. Okay, 101 and a half. So here's my center point. Here's my long end to my right. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to make a slip knot like so. And there it is. Okay, so what we're doing next is pretty much wrapping like that, wrapping our hook, and then it kind of makes like a single crochet, and then you yarn over and then pull through the 2 loops, and that's the beginning. Keep your tension good, wrap it, pull through 2, and you're just going to do this until you get to the end of your long tail. You want to leave a little bit of length so that you can weave it into itself so it won't come undone. Okay, let me go this a little bit closer so you guys can see it a little bit better. So I'm wrapping around the front, holding it still here, and then yarning over, see, because it catches that piece right there. Yarning over and then pulling through those 2. And that's what you do the whole time. So to keep this side from getting buckly, just make sure you keep your tension on your hook over here, the loop that's on your hook. Just make sure they're equal in size and you should be good. I think this is the easiest way to crochet your own I-cord, honestly. Okay, so I will keep going till the end and I will be right back. Okay, here we are at the end of our I-cord. We'll stretch it out a little bit. Let me cut this. Actually, I'm going to wrap this last bit and I'm going to pull this through and pull it tight. Okay, so pulling this out, let me measure this for you. So 40 inches of long tail gives us about a 14-inch cord. Okay. I'm just going to weave this real quick to show you what it looks like, but then I'm going to finish these guys off and weave them in when I'm done. So I'm picking center here and I'm just going to weave it around. Now this is the double crochet block. You see how the spacing is that much bigger than the half double? That's what we wanted for this cord and tie to move pretty easily through there. Okay, so yeah, there's that one. Now I'm going over the chain space. I'm counting this as 1 as opposed to a gap in between. So I'm going over both of them like that. And under and then out through the same hole. Okay, pull this guy through. Even it out a bit. And there it is. Let's put your soap in there so you can see how it fits. Definitely plenty of space up there. Pull this, tie it up. And there it is. Beautiful. Now you could do this in so many different colors if you wanted to. I just had the white on hand. I have black, but that would not be easy for y'all to see. So I didn't want to do that on camera. So there that is. Okay, to finish up, I am going to weave these guys in, but I wanted to show you, here's the finish. And I decided I was going to make one with the little bit easier version I was talking about, where you're not using the third loop, which gives you these front texture. It's just crocheting regularly in the top loops. And this is what that looks like. And if you can tell the difference, a little closer there. As you see, that does make it larger because by working in the top of each stitch instead of the back of each stitch, your stitches are taller. So let's measure this out. So we've gone, and I'm going to just measure it to where the tie goes. So from the tie down, this will be the base. So that would be where the soap is 4 inches or so. Okay. And then width, we're looking at 3 3/4. Now, when you do the full stitch and not use the third loop, you end up with a whole 1/2 inch, almost 1/2 inch longer. Can you see that a little bit? There we go. Almost 1/2 inch. And then the width should be the same. Yeah, the width is the same. And I'm going to put this soap bar in here to kind of show the difference. So this is kind of a smaller size. If you're buying like the store-bought kinds, I think they're like this big in length. That would fit in here nicely. But you know, you can use these pouches for so many other things. So yeah, see, there's that much gap at the top, which is fine. You can make this for whatever you need to make it for. But the texture is a little different, as you see. It's larger than with the third loop. So either way, it's still a great pouch or baggie, snack bag. Gosh, go ahead and put in the comments ideas that you have on how you could use these other than the soap saving pouch. And once again, definitely want to give a shout out to the Kylie Farm for their beautiful soaps and products that inspired me to create this. Here are the ingredients for this actual soap. You want to check that out before going to their website. But again, I will link their website and their socials in the comments for you. They should be there. Make it easier for you to find. Okay. I do want to share, since I've made 3 of these now, how much yarn I have used up from this one skein of 24/7 cotton, the DK. This is a 3.5 ounce / 100 gram skein. So I'm going to measure this right now to see. Actually, I'm going to measure both. I have this set to grams because I find that grams give me, that's not grams. Grams give me much more accurate measurement. I'll put it over there since the ring light is messing it up. Okay, so we're going to measure these guys, all 3 of these, and they weigh 48 grams. And then we have, including the label, 50. I'm going to say that 1 gram is the label. So 52 grams left. So that's 3 for less than half a skein. Now I didn't do the other tie. So I'm pretty sure if I did the other I-cord, that would get me to exactly half a skein. And then it would be 6. It would be 6 pouches out of 1 skein of yarn. I think that's pretty doable and efficient, giving you a decent amount of options. So, okay. That's it for the creative part of this, and I will pack this up and see you in just a moment. Alrighty, I hope that you enjoyed this tutorial. Here are the 2 that we did, or that I showed you. This is the one that I've gone through in the tutorial, and then this was the one that I showed you at the end here with just the simple, using the top stitches, and not using the 3rd loop. So if you have questions or anything, let me know in the comments. I'll be more than happy to answer those for you. Tell me how you would use these other than a soap saver, or even if it's just for a soap saver, that's fine too. I'm excited to hear back from you guys. Go ahead and click the like and subscribe button so that you can keep apprised to my future videos when they come out. I have some fun ones. I have another one later in a couple of days that I think you may find interesting. So thanks for joining me today, and I'll see you next time.